With all the changes teens go through, it can be hard to tell sometimes if it's time to be concerned about your teen or if their behavior is typical. In this video, I'll be talking about teens in crisis, the challenges of parenting teenagers today, and at the end, I'll give you 5 questions to assess what your teens are learning in their interactions with you. So stay tuned. I'm Dr. Jenny Wong, founder of Project Parent, and I teach committed parents to change their teens' behavior. The CDC came out with its results from its study of adolescent behaviors and experiences over the last 2 years, and the results show that an increasing number of teens are in crisis. 44% of teenagers reported persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness, 20% contemplated suicide, and emergency room visits by adolescent girls for suicide attempts went up 51% compared to pre-pandemic levels. There's always the hope that with the right combination of technology monitoring and general oversight, you can catch when they're in trouble. Sometimes this is enough. Lately, though, I'm reminded as I meet with different parents that it's a project and still holding sway in your teen's emotional world. It's a battle to keep a pulse on the heart and mind of your teen so that when they face tough patches, when asking for help is the last thing they want to do, you come to mind as a resource. The reality is we can only help our teens to the extent that we are aware they need help and they allow us. We rely on them to communicate their distress to us. And the more they feel able to communicate their distress, the more parents can feel confident that their teen will let them know when they need help. And when this happens, the more room there is for everyone to move in the parent-teen relationship. I often tell my teen clients, we don't need you to feel good or be happy all the time or even have a great attitude all the time. But it sure would help if we helped you get good at asking for help. Parents often think that asking for help is a no-brainer, that it should be easy for our kids because we've loved them so unconditionally. How could they not know that they can come to us? The thing is that asking for help is a skill that requires some combination of recognizing you need help, belief that you're deserving of that help, understanding that needing help doesn't make you a big loser or undermine your identity, and some amount of confidence that asking for help will yield some change that at least won't result in things getting worse. What makes adolescence so tough for everyone is that teens need enough room to make mistakes, to separate from their parents enough to start developing their own identity, while also being guided enough to stay alive and stay on track. It's an ongoing high-wire act, balancing on one hand our hopes and dreams for our kids and our beliefs about what it takes to get there, and on the other, validating our teen along the way that, yes, life is messy, not just for them, but for everyone, that life can bring pain and struggles, that they're not wrong in perceiving this about the world. As parents, our task becomes giving them not only our belief in them, that they can face the pains of life, but the skills as well to be able to do so. And we do this most through our behavior and ability to model navigating uncomfortable negative feelings. For better or worse, they learn most how to cope with their problems by watching how we cope with their problems and feelings. They learn about how much belief they can have in themselves by watching how much belief we have in them that they are robust enough to handle what they're facing and that no mistake is beyond repair. They learn how much they can believe us by watching how much our belief is based on a real understanding of what they're facing from their vantage point. Because if we try to convey our belief in them but can't convey that we get where they're coming from, it erodes their trust in us and our words become meaningless. They're learning. Our teens are always learning. And as they work to differentiate from us, They still need us, and this is one of the things that makes parenting teenagers challenging. Being a helicopter or lawnmower parent just isn't going to work because teens and young adults need the space to make mistakes, which means we need some increased threshold for ourselves to watch our kids struggle and learn. There's no learning without mistakes, and good Lord, if you try to do all the heavy lifting reactively for your teen, not only do they miss out on a needed range of experiences that will help them grow and launch into adulthood, you're going to burn out even before they've gotten through high school. And I'm here to break it to you, having sat with parents of kids of all ages, from infants to their now much older adult children in their 30s and 40s. It is stark to me that the job of being a parent never ends. I was just talking to a mentor about this recently, and she said reassuringly, it gets better by the time the kids turn 50. The tension between forcing too much independence and fostering too much dependence, between being too strict and being too loose, between making too big of a deal of typical teenage behaviors and not taking a behavior seriously enough. These are the balancing acts parents have to navigate when parenting teens. It's a steep learning curve for everyone. Sometimes we can get so caught up in making sure our kids are succeeding like we think they should, that we forget they're not just rule followers. They're social beings starting to learn about what it means to have opinions, wants, and preferences, and what it says about who they are and how and if they'll be accepted. They're testing it out and making lots of inferences and are still looking for our reassurance, albeit more quietly, and they won't necessarily admit it. It may not look like it when you feel your teen push back, but your validation goes a long way with them. To be clear, I don't mean agreement with them. I mean effectively conveying that what they're feeling makes sense given what they're experiencing. So don't buy into the sighs and eye rolls. Your belief and understanding still matter deeply. And this requires some heavy lifting by parents, but not the same kind as often done in helicopter or lawnmower parenting. The end result of effective heavy lifting is a teen or young adult who knows what they think and feel and has a whole repertoire of skills to navigate the many challenges our growing teens will face as part of reality, with a good starting foundation for healthy interactions. Much easier and more doable to help our kids have skills, strength, and self-belief to navigate the painful aspects of living than to try to shield them from all pain. The latter is a sure recipe for burnout. The pull to grab control reactively with our teens is high because we care that much, and sometimes that can actually work against both you and your teen. So take a moment and reflect on what your reactions, verbal and nonverbal, to your teens' problems teach them when it comes to 1. How solvable a problem is. 2. How much room there is to make an honest mistake. 3. How much room there is to ask for help. 4. How much room is there for independence? And 5. How much room is there to be less than perfect? Ask your kids how they'd answer these questions, and you may be surprised. Thanks for watching.